Good morning, everyone. Today, we will delve into a profound and challenging topic, exploring Olavo de Carvalho's reflections on the limits of human knowledge and the role of science in understanding reality. The focus will be on understanding how he defines the concept of fact, how science deals with facts, and the philosophical implications of this process. Our goal is to comprehend how Olavo critiques the scientific method while exposing the boundaries of our understanding of the universe's totality. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with your friends. Your support helps us continue to bring insightful content like this. For Olavo, everything begins with defining what a fact is. He presents two main approaches. The first is the objective definition. A fact is something that occurs in space and time. It can be the permanence of a state of things, such as a mountain remaining in the same place for millennia, or the alteration of that state, such as the same mountain being displaced by an earthquake. Both situations are facts because they are rooted in space-time. The second approach is the intersubjective definition used in science. In this context, a fact is something that can be verified by multiple observers under appropriate conditions. Here, the consensus among observers legitimizes the fact, but this involves a significant reduction of its original complexity. Olavo also addresses the relationship between time and eternity. He cites Boethius, who defines eternity as the simultaneous possession of all moments, past, present, and future. This means that eternity is not the absence of time, but a supra-time that transcends the temporal scale. In this context, he argues that facts, defined by space-time, cannot be applied to the concept of eternity. This distinction is important because it leads us to reflect on the limitations of science. If it operates within space and time, how can it address realities that transcend these dimensions? Building on this definition, Olavo invites us to reflect on the limitations of human knowledge regarding facts. He emphasizes that only an infinitesimal fraction of the universe's facts comes to human knowledge. He uses concrete examples to illustrate this. Think, for instance, about a person you live with daily. Inside their body, physiological processes such as digestion, respiration, and heartbeat are constantly occurring, but you do not observe any of them directly. These facts exist, but they remain beyond your reach. Now, consider objects in your home, such as a table or a chair. You never completely examine the interior of these objects, yet you assume they have depth and content based only on assumptions. Even something as simple as a book you haven't read depends on belief. You assume it is full of words, but you can only be sure by checking it page by page. These everyday examples are expanded by Olavo to encompass the universal scope. He reminds us that the entire universe, from subatomic particles to entire galaxies, is composed of a vast multitude of facts. However, our capacity to observe and comprehend these facts is extremely limited. Even considering the entire history of humanity, what we know is only a minuscule fraction of the universe's totality. This leads to a crucial question. If the universe is composed of an infinity of facts that will never be observed, how much can we trust our scientific understanding of reality? Olavo then directs his critique toward the role of science. He argues that science transforms facts into generic concepts, losing the concrete richness of the original facts. This happens because science, working with the intersubjective concept of fact, only considers what can be verified by multiple people under specific conditions. This approach already excludes a vast number of facts that cannot be reproduced or collectively observed. Furthermore, even the facts that are accepted by science undergo abstraction. They are reduced to generic concepts that capture only limited aspects of the original reality. He exemplifies this with a psychological experiment. During a conference, a simulated shooting was presented to 200 psychologists. Despite being trained professionals, their reports of the event diverged significantly. Only a small zone of agreement among the reports was found. According to Olavo, this zone of agreement represents a generic concept of the fact, but not the fact in its entirety. This demonstrates how science does not capture the fact in its integrity, but only a simplified version of it. This reduction of facts to what is verifiable or consensual, according to Olavo, generates a contradiction within the very concept of fact. He explains that, objectively, a fact includes all of reality, even what cannot be observed or measured. In contrast, in the scientific concept, a fact is limited to what can be reproduced and confirmed by multiple observers. This tension reveals an intrinsic limitation of science, its inability to encompass the totality of reality. Finally, Olavo leads us to reflect on the philosophical implications of this process. He argues that science is a powerful tool, but insufficient to understand reality in its entirety. Its methodology, by excluding so many facts, creates a chasm between what we know and what exists. He invites us to consider that philosophy and other forms of knowledge can offer complementary insights to fill these gaps. He concludes by emphasizing that the universe is vast and complex, far beyond what science can reach. No matter how advanced our technology may be, our understanding will always be limited. Olavo reminds us that the pursuit of knowledge must be continuous, embracing both what is accessible and what remains mysterious. This reflection challenges us to think beyond scientific methods and recognize both the strengths and limitations of our understanding. This analysis is not merely a critique of science, but an invitation to expand our intellectual horizons. It calls us to embrace the complexity of the world and recognize that, even with all our efforts, there will always be more to discover. This does not diminish the value of science, but reminds us that it is only one part of our quest to understand reality in all its depth. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with others who might enjoy this content. Your engagement makes a difference and helps us continue to bring thoughtful discussions like this. 1.